So today we're talking to Michelle Austin, who's the Director of Neighborhood and Community Services for the city of Clarksville. Uh, the mission of the CNCS is to revitalize neighborhoods, preserve or create affordable housing opportunities, and advocate for the marginalized. So looking forward to this interview, and let's get started. Good morning. How are you, Michelle?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming and spending this time with us.
Mhm.
So you're with the Clarksville's Neighborhood and Community Services Department, right?
Correct. Yes.
What can you tell me about that? Because that's a new department.
No, it's actually been around for a long time, but it's a little known department within the
Okay.
city. So the Clarksville Neighborhood and Community Services, you have to say it really fast for it to really flow.
You got a cool acronym for it, right?
CNCS.
CNCS.
So that department is a small department, but with a lot of big work that we do.
Okay.
We have a team of 6 people, and we receive the CBDG entitlement funds for the city of Clarksville. And then we utilize those funds to do projects within the community, really focus on community development projects.
Now you said the CBDG.
CBDG, yes. And that is the Community Block Grant Program.
Okay.
It's through the HUD department.
Okay, so
Federal
that's
HUD.
a federal.
It is.
Okay.
Yes. So again, we do projects and infrastructure primarily in low income areas, legacy communities that really targets our low income members of our community. Some of the work that you've probably seen would be playgrounds, sidewalk infrastructure. We do a lot of rebuilding of homes and home rehab projects. So again, it's a lot of behind the scenes that are done by other departments. And usually at those ribbon cuttings, you'll see Parks and Recreation unveil this new playground. Some of that funding for that playground comes through our office.
Okay. So you used to be with City Parks and Rec.
I did.
Correct. So
yes.
how did this transition come about?
So I've been with the city for 13 years, all of that with Parks and Recreation. I've worked with our special events teams, our athletic teams, our rec centers, marketing teams, and I'm a Parks and Rec kid. Parks and Recreation built me, and I love the work that we do there because I love having an impact in our community. And then when this job opportunity became available and the mayor reached out and asked me to step over and do some work there, I was a little apprehensive, right? Because that was not my plan. But it's his plan and it's his plan. So I'm really excited about the work that we're already doing and the opportunities that are available there for me to have an impact here in Clarksville in a different way than I was at Parks and Recreation.
Okay. So you're enjoying the job so far. You've been doing it how long? A couple of months now?
November, December, so about 3 months now.
Very, very new.
I'm very new. So I was a month into the position, and then December 9th, the tornado hit Clarksville.
How did that impact everything?
Well, so we had a lot of residents in our community who needed community services immediately. So we had people who were at their most traumatic moments, who needed food, they needed shelter, they needed work on their homes, they needed trees cleaned up out of their yards, and our community organizations here in Clarksville went to work. And so I just did what I can to try and coordinate some of those activities between those community groups, but it wasn't just me. So on December 10th, I went to the United Way office and sat down with Valerie Guzman and some other nonprofit executive directors and started putting together a list of things that we needed to get, moving on here in Clarksville. So that's securing volunteers, that's working with groups to get hot meals to different locations, identifying what those locations were and who needed it the most. We identified really fast that we had a block of community off the Britton Springs Road area. It was a huge chunk of affordable housing that we lost on December 9th.
Really?
A lot of renters and low-income residents live in that area. we lost a substantial number of old trailers where we had large families living there. All of those people needed help right away, and that is relocation. That is getting them into hotels, and so that's how my job changed. And ever since then, I've still been working on short-term recovery and now long-term recovery. And
so that's not really a duty that was prescribed to you. You just kind of took it and ran with it, or did they specifically say, "Hey, this is something you need to get involved in"?
So, again, my department is neighborhood and community services. So we are on a mission to strengthen neighborhoods and connect people with community services.
Mm-hmm.
And so my vision of that department is we would be a centralized point for residents, connecting them with the community services that are available here in Clarksville. So for me, I saw that in my new role, like this is where I need to be and this is the work that I need to be doing. And since then, the mayor has tapped me and asked me to lead his long-term recovery task force.
Really?
So I work with our street department, our gas and water, our finance department, and purchasing to identify the work that needs to be done. And our building and codes, that's a huge one because there are so many codes-related permits and debris-related matters. But I work hand in hand with them from the city side, and then I serve on a new long-term recovery group of community partners as the city of Clarksville's point of contact. In a nutshell, what my last 3 months have looked like.
That's been very busy.
It's been very busy, but it's been so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And you're adjusting well to it?
Yes, yes. I've learned to prioritize.
Really?
But I love the work that I'm doing so very much. And if you'd have
Better
told
than
me,
Parks and Rec?
Oh, it's different. It's different.
Just a different mission set.
It is, yes. So at Parks and Recreation,
because you were pretty passionate about Parks and Rec.
yes, and I'm
Like,
still
I mean, every time we
passionate.
would talk, you would tell me all about, this is going here, this is going there, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was using you as a great source of information just so I knew what was going on.
Right.
And just to see, just this major change, which is great. I mean, if you love what you're doing.
Well, Parks and Recreation works closely with this department already, especially as a funding source for many of the initiatives that are happening in the community. LaVon Bracey in the Neighborhood and Community Services office, I felt like she was my coworker for years because we've worked hand in hand in so many events, and now she really is. But Jennifer Letourneau at Parks and Recreation, she and I, we're tight, right? We've been on a mission for a long time together, and I'm really excited about us working hand in hand on future projects because now we have a little bit more opportunities with funding and that sort of thing that we can make some good things happen in our areas of community that need it the most.
So where do you see your department like heading in the future? Like what are some short-term goals and long-term goals that you think you may have for your new position and what you want to do?
Okay.
I know I didn't send you that question, but I thought I'd just throw it at you.
No, it's fine. So long-term, let's start with that. Long-term goals, my number one priority is affordable housing. I think that is...
So affordable housing, not attainable housing, because I know we go back and forth.
Right.
I'm on a task force with the Clarksville Association of Realtors talking about attainable housing, and then we changed that name also to combine attainable and affordable housing.
Okay.
Because there's two separate meanings in what we're looking at. Okay, so you're on a committee for that also? Or that's one of your long-term goals.
Yes,
Excuse me.
I mean that's my job is to advocate for
Right.
affordable housing, and so I know attainable housing is very important as well. But right now, I have so many people who don't have housing that affordable is what I need to find for them. Homelessness has been a hot topic in most of the meetings I've been in the last couple of days, and
Is it increasing in Clarksville or kind of staying the same?
well, I can't speak to that right now.
Okay.
We are doing our point in time counts this evening.
Okay.
So Operation Stand Down is leading the point in time this year. And what point in time is where it's the January 30th. You go out into homeless encampments after dark, when the counts should be highest. Why they do it in January, I have no idea. I don't think it's best. But
Yes.
But that's what we're doing tonight. So we're going out to the encampments that we know about, and we get that information from different service providers in the community who know and love on these individuals throughout the year.
How many are you planning on visiting? I'm just curious. I don't know how many encampments are known.
Well, we have 15 sites
Okay.
just within the Parks and Recreation system
Okay.
that I know about that are encampments or places where people are sleeping in their cars at night.
Okay.
So Jennifer Letourneau, our Director of Parks and Recreation,
We will definitely reach out to her.
She is going out with me tonight. And one of our council members and someone from Centerstone, I think, is going to be in my group. We're going to huddle up at Operation Stand Down, and Dan's going to send us out.
Okay.
But I know those 15 locations are important to me because I want to see that firsthand, and I want to talk to those individuals. And we have to fill out a survey with them and get a count and learn more about what led them to be where they're at right now.
Okay. So you're just getting background information and then just gathering data.
Yes.
So how big are these encampments? I mean, we're kind of way off subject here, but now I'm really interested
Yeah.
in like how big is an encampment? Are we talking 25, 50 people?
It varies.
Families?
So in my experience on Parks and Recreation properties, we've worked to clean up some encampments through the years, and sometimes it's 3 tents and a lot of trash. Sometimes it's a lot of blankets draped over trees. Very few. Usually, those encampments are not occupied when we've gotten to them. You know, our security team or another group has come in and relocated those individuals, and then we're there to clean up. This is going to be my first time where I'm walking into an encampment that is occupied and having a conversation with someone at their home.
A little nervous.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely understand. I would be too.
As I've talked about point in time over the past year with folks, I've told myself that when this comes around this time, I want to be part of that. And now I'm in a role where I need to be part of that. And I've been looking forward to it because, again, homelessness is something that it sets on my heart. It's really heavy on me. And I feel like there's got to be an answer or something that we can do that's best for everyone involved. And so I was looking forward to having the conversation with folks to really dig in and learn more about why they are where they're at. But then when we were in training yesterday and really looking at some of the locations that we're going to, especially in our parks, they're off the beaten path. It's a little nervous.
So it's just four of y'all going, 5 of y'all?
Yeah, again, I don't know until
you
Dan
get paired
splits
up.
us up this evening.
Okay.
So
Didn't see that as a something you'd be doing soon, huh?
no.
Okay. All right. So when you get all that data that comes back, you collect it, analyze it, and then provide a report. That's what then distributed
is.
to the public or on the website.
Point in Time is led by HUD.
Okay.
And they have an app where you just fill it out on your phone while you're at wherever location and talking to whoever you're talking to, and it goes straight to them. And then that determines the level of funding the city of Clarksville receives from HUD for homelessness resources.
Okay. So it's a federal program. You upload the data, and then once you get all that, then that's the amount of data or that's the amount of funding that the federal government sends
To Clarksville.
to Clarksville.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So short-term goals. Well, was that long-term goals? Did we hit both? Did we hit both of them?
No. Well, long-term goals I think would be advocating for affordable housing and really getting in to see what that looks like here in Clarksville. What type of projects that we can develop. I'm really interested in some mixed housing opportunities.
Okay.
Maybe some facilities where we have low-income individuals with maybe some workforce housing mixed in with some market housing, all in the same location. So I'd really like to learn more about that and how we can make something like that happen here in Clarksville.
Are there any specific areas in Clarksville you're trying to target, or just kind of holistically?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Haven't gotten there yet? You're still getting your feet wet?
I'm 3 months in.
Okay. Yeah. So what other programs, does your department handle? I went onto the website, I saw, about 5 or 6 different tabs, and I was going to talk to you about all of them, but I'm like, I know you're busy. I don't want to just ask and ask and ask and
Sure.
keep putting you on the spot. But I mean,
No, I can touch on some of those. So our biggest program that we're most active with is our rehab and rebuilding program. So that is individuals who are low to moderate income can apply for funding from us
Okay.
for home repairs. So the idea
And-
behind that is we
yeah.
want people who are part of that neighborhood to remain in that neighborhood and continue to be, an active member of that community. And if that means that we go in and we repair their roof or their flooring, something in these aging homes that keeps them there, then that's the work that we do. We do regular rehab, and then we also do emergency rehab.
Okay.
Right now, we've done a lot of repairs on HVAC systems. Most of our clientele are seniors. We had a little bit of a backlog on that request for work. We're getting caught up on that, and I'm looking forward to maybe marketing that program in the future. And there's also some opportunities to maybe expand that, working with some TVA funding, some weatherization
So,
projects.
so somebody applies for that. What does that look like? Do they just go on the website,
They do.
do an application, and then should they get accepted? Like, what's kind of a timeline for something?
So anything that's tied to our funding, most of the people who have worked with us know it's not a quick and easy
No.
process. But there is hope, and it's not quick, but it'll happen. Again, like I said, we had a backlog of work to be done, but our team is really getting caught up on that. If somebody applies on our website, there's going to be a little, I think it's a Google form or something, just a little bit of information.
Okay.
And someone from our team is going to reach out to you, probably likely the next day, and ask you some more questions just to make sure that you meet eligibility. We don't want to dig in and get all of the paperwork that we're going to need if you're not even eligible for our program, or your home isn't eligible, and they'll walk you through it. It's a lot. It's federal funding, so there's a lot to it, but our team's ready to help walk people through that.
How many are on your team?
6.
6. Okay. I don't think I asked you that, or I just wanted to clarify. So give me one more program.
One more program. Well, our CBDG subrecipient program.
Okay.
So annually, we put out a call for applications to our nonprofit agencies here in Clarksville. The CBDG, the Community Block Grant funding that the city of Clarksville receives, we can use a percentage of that for subrecipients. That means these nonprofits, First Presbyterian Church, Operation Stand Down, Urban Ministries, they are been some of our subrecipients for years. Habitat for Humanity, they fill out an application outlining their program that they're wanting to fund, the funding that they're going to need, and of course a lot of other stuff. But we receive all of these applications from those community partners, review them, score them, make sure their eligibility, and then select who are going to be our subrecipients for the next year.
Okay.
Some of the programs that you've seen already, Operation Stand Down uses some of our funding. I believe they use it for a tenant rental assistance, I believe.
Okay.
First Presbyterian Church and the Irene Center for Hope, they help with motel vouchers and utilities. Urban Ministries, Grace Assistance Program, they also use some of this funding to assist with utilities and hotel vouchers, I believe. Manna Cafe uses some of this funding for their cold weather shelter.
Okay.
But there's lots of nonprofits here in the community that use some of this funding to support their programs.
So if somebody wants to volunteer, do they volunteer with your office or all these other outreach areas?
Through those outreach areas. Again, I think that's why this department is little known, because these other groups are out there.
They're kind of the face of everything.
They are, yes.
And y'all are the support system.
Right. We're behind the scenes providing the funding, or in the home rehab area, doing the work behind the scenes.
So what's next for Michelle? In the next couple of years, where do you see yourself going?
The next couple of years, I plan to still be where I'm at, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping to make a dent in our affordable housing and the housing opportunities that are available here in Clarksville, especially for our low to moderate income residents.
Well, I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us. And
Oh, thanks for
taking,
having me. It was good to see you and the team.
We have an awesome Yeti for you to take with you.
Nice.
Would you like a black one or a white one?
White.
White it is.
Awesome.
So there you go. Thank
Thanks,
you so much
Robert.
for coming and hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
And love to do it again sometime, maybe in a year, see where you're at.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a lot of things to talk about then.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.